2022 is coming to an end, and you know exactly what that means. It is time for that famous old list, the best movies of the year. Just my personal opinion. This is my favorite movies of the year. You might have different movies on your list. You probably do, because a lot of you are not going to like my list. But hey, that is okay. I want to hear yours, and I want to hear what you think about my list, because this year, guys, was crazy. Seriously, there are so many movies this year that were just really good, and I couldn't do a top 10 best. I did a top 15 best of the year with a few honorable mentions. But before getting started, let me just say, like I said, it's my list, it's my opinion. You can disagree, totally fine. You can call me stupid, you can call me wrong. I'll read them all in the comments. Totally fine, it is okay. And listen, there's gonna be movies on this list. A+, they're gonna be in the bottom. The A- gonna be the top. It don't matter. Some of these movies, just rewatchability and rewatching them recently just helped me fix this list. So, with all that being said, you know the rules. It is time to talk about the best movies of the year. But of course, before getting to the top 15 best, we have 5 honorable mentions I just want to mention. These movies are good. I just couldn't put them in the list, and I didn't want to do 20, so I did 15, okay? So we'll start with The Woman King. That movie is awesome, and it looks great on 4K. Then we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, a sequel that should have not been as good, and it definitely did. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Then we have The Menu, a movie that a lot of people really liked, and I totally get it. I really enjoyed it. Didn't make my list, though. Then we have Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the Nicolas Cage action movie, which seriously, on rewatch, is just a really fun movie. I really enjoy that movie. Underrated, too. Probably the most underrated of the year. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to put X and Pearl. Both these movies are together in that horror genre that I love so much. Can't wait for the third one, but these two was really good. Now let's get started with the list. And starting at number 15 is going to be Clerks 3. I really like Kevin Smith movies, and going in this movie, I didn't have high expectations, but I loved this movie. It was hilarious, it was very dramatic, it even made me cry in the end. And this movie, to close out the Clerks trilogy, was perfect. And as a person that is a young filmmaker, I loved seeing them make the first Clerks in this movie. It was really fun to watch, and seeing it with a crowd in a movie theater, it was a ton of fun. I really recommend Clerks 3. Next up, we have the best animated movie of the year, no question about it. In 14th place is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio on Netflix. This movie is beautiful. The stop motion, claymation, CGI, whatever they wanted to do in this movie, it looks amazing. And Guillermo del Toro's creative mind in this movie, taking the original movie and honestly making it better, this is a classic in the making. I really hope all of you get a chance to see it. It honestly, it might be better than the original Pinocchio. It's that freaking good. It might not be for kids, but adults and maybe grown children can really enjoy it. It's on Netflix right now. If you watch me, then you know I'm a huge horror fan, and I really liked this movie. In 13th place is The Black Phone. Ethan Hawke as the grabber. Just a terrifying performance. And these two kids, brother and sister performances, was amazing. Especially that girl. This kid environment, grow up feel, Stephen King, it's written by the son of Stephen King. It felt that vibe with a very dark tone, and obviously from the director of Sinister, you're gonna get that. I really enjoyed this movie. I love the story. I know a lot of people found it kind of boring. I love the characters, and I love the grabber. Ethan Hawke is a classic horror killer. Now, of course, I had to add some Oscar movies in this list, and at 12th, we have The Banshees of Sharon. This movie is going to be nominated for a lot of Oscars, and I honestly can say Colin Farrell might just win Best Actor. I'm not sure about that, but a screenplay needs to be talked about winning. Martin McDonagh's script is amazing. The cinematography, the landscape is beautiful to look at. It's a very slow character development piece that I've just found very intriguing in writing, acting, and just filmmaking. I found the movie very interesting, and I actually liked it more on rewatch, which I said in my review, this movie is very good and watch out for a bunch of Oscars. Now, a lot of you probably saw this movie coming, but in number 11, 13 years in the making, James Cameron finally gave us Avatar: The Way of Water. Seeing this in IMAX 3D was an experience. Seriously, the experience itself made me had to put it on this list. The Pandora has never looked better. These characters might not be the most original, well-developed characters, but that IMAX 3D, the action scenes, the overall tone of this movie, and just James Cameron's action scenes. Pandora has returned, and I honestly cannot wait to see the sequels. And for a 3-hour movie, I really enjoyed it. But I will say, on rewatch, the third act, the pacing is little issues for me. I still just loved going back to Pandora. Alright, we're in the top 10 now, and let me just say, this 10th spot, a lot of you are just gonna go ahead and say, you're wrong, that is not right, that movie's not better than this. Listen, I have seen this movie so many times, and putting it on this list felt comforting to me. This movie I can watch all the time. Number 10 is Scream. I love the original Scream, and for this one to finally be up there with the original, I can honestly say this is my second favorite Scream movie. I love the original characters. I love the new characters. I love how it felt like a reboot, but it was also very much a sequel to the other 4 movies, and it just felt like it was honoring Wes Craven, and to see a movie succeed after him not being able to do this movie, rest in peace. This was a huge entertaining movie. I enjoyed it, and it makes me so excited for the future and for the 6th one coming out in like 3 months. Coming in the 9th spot is the best superhero movie of the year, and that is no question about it. And at one point, this movie had a number 1 spot for a while. Number 9 is The Batman. Robert Pattinson, I'm not going to say is the best Batman, not yet, but for a first solo movie, this is Seven meets Batman, and that is up my alley. I remember seeing this with a crowd, and everyone just loving this movie, loving the noir tone, the detective of Batman, and it being 3 hours long, I was hooked in this movie for an IMAX experience. Watching on 4K, it's still a really good movie. It makes me so excited where we're going with future Robert Pattinson's Batman. I hope they can just, DC, don't mess with this character, leave him alone, because for a first movie, it was outstanding. It was a great crime movie, more than a superhero movie. I highly recommend The Batman. Now, if you've watched me this entire year, coming in number 8 is a movie a lot of you were going to say, you did not like this movie in your original review, and that is true. I did not love this movie, but after rewatching it and just kind of just being sucked into this world and giving it on a 4K rewatch, number 8 is going to be The Northmen. Listen, first watch, I enjoyed this movie. I loved looking at it. Rewatching it for a second and a third time, I really just found it more intriguing of just Skarsgård's performance, Anya Taylor-Joy's performance, all these actors in this movie. The cinematography is literally, it should be nominated for an Oscar, and it's not gonna be. This movie is honestly gonna be a classic in the talks of Braveheart and Gladiator, I believe. The Northman is really just an entertaining movie about Vikings killing people, and it's got a good story and a wild and awesome ending. I highly recommend this on 4K if you've not seen it yet. Let's go all the way back to January to talk about my 7th spot, and this is a movie that no one is talking about on their best list. For me, this is probably the most important movie of the entire year and what our climate of our world is right now. Number 7 is The Fallout. Jenna Ortega's performance in this movie is getting no talk. She is amazing in this movie, and just the climate of what school shootings are and how students have to live their lives going to school knowing it's not completely safe. This movie tells a story of like growing up after the event of that, and it's an interesting story with nice warm heart comedy and teenage growing up and learning about love, but it's also an overall tone about our climate, and that ending struck me hard. If you've seen the movie, that last minute is true dark, hitting you in the heart, and that is scary to think of. The Fallout is probably the most important movie of the year for me. And like I said, I am a big horror fan, so in my 6th spot, a lot of you probably saw this coming, and it is my favorite horror movie of the entire year. Number 6 is Barbarian. This movie's fucked up, and in the best ways possible. It's an original story with an original antagonist and a just overall messed up tone, with it also being very funny. I remember watching this movie in theaters, loving it, and I could not wait wait for certain friends to watch this movie, and when they did, they loved it, and they loved how freaky it was, how scary it was, and just how different it was. It was well directed, well written. It is my favorite movie of the horror movie of the year, and watching it again the other night, it stuck with me. I love this movie. Alright, now entering in my top 5, and I'm being honest with you guys. 5 through 1, all at one point, was number 1 for a while for each one of them. And honestly, a couple days ago, 5 through 1 kept switching. This was hard to do. So all these next 5 are really good movies, and all these movies are great, but this 5 were hard to do. Coming in number 5, Top Gun Maverick, the box office crowd pleaser. It is an awesome movie, and is it honestly going to win Best Picture? I guess we'll find out. Tom Cruise is a superstar. This movie just brought everyone together at the movie theaters. It was an experience to see in IMAX. The movie is crazy good with its technical camera blocking and cinematography. It is entertaining. It's an awesome sequel. It's going to go down as a top 20 best sequel of all time. Top Gun Maverick is that good. Now, in my 4th spot, the poster of this movie is actually my lock screen on my phone, because this movie was number 1 and probably until the beginning of this month. But number 4 is Jordan Peele's Nope. Spielberg is my favorite director, and this is Close Encounters meets Jaws with a little bit of Signs, and that is up my alley. Those movies are great, and this movie mixes it together with a great, interesting script that some people I can agree with have just not liked this movie. They don't just like how he's always trying to do something with more than just the subject at hand. I think this movie balances it really well to make it very entertaining and very frightening for its horror, if you want to say, horror genre. I think it's a sci-fi movie, but Nope is one of my favorite movies of the year, especially watching on 4K, and just seeing it on IMAX, I loved it. I saw it 4 or 3 times in theaters. Now in my 3rd spot is, I honestly am gonna say, maybe the best picture frontrunner. Who knows? And if you can talk about original movies, it's this movie. Number 3, Everything, Anywhere, All at Once. Michelle Yeoh, she might be winning Best Actress. The movie might be winning Best Picture, and it deserves it. The creativity behind this movie is outstanding. It's original. This movie I cannot compare to anything. It is its own movie, and it is outstandingly done. Editing amazing, the cinematography, the directing, the acting, the overall tone and story, and the message, while also being an entertaining sci-fi, drama, comedy. It's everything you want in a movie. I cannot recommend this movie enough. Everyone I've told to go see it has loved this movie, and I love to see that for an original idea movie. It is a best picture frontrunner if you ask me, and it was number 1 for a while, guys. Now, this is definitely where people are going to turn off my video, and you're definitely going to leave a comment. Number 2 is a movie that is getting trashed on right now, and honestly, I kind of see why, but I love this movie. Number 2 is Babylon. I get it. Listen, I get the criticisms. In the first 20 minutes, I hated this movie. But by the end of this 3-hour runtime, that ending as a young filmmaker and seeing the evolution of movies and seeing the old days of talkies turning into something huge in our society, I thought this movie did it well, while also bringing in the Wolf of Wall Street party scenes with tons of orgies and nudity that I found very hilarious. Very, very funny scenes with Margot Robbie and Brad Pitt giving award-winning performances, if you ask me. I loved this movie. I cannot wait to see it again. I'm on a Babylon high. I've been listening to that score. This is a really good movie for me, but I get the hatred. And now, finally, my number 1 spot. And in all honesty, when I saw this movie, I loved this movie. But then I had a really bad day. I had a day where I just needed to leave my house. I needed to be alone. I went to the movie theaters. This was the only movie that was playing at that time. And I saw it again. And it hit me, and I cried, because I can relate to this movie. I can relate to a lot about this movie. I love watching this movie, and I cannot wait to see it again. My number 1 favorite movie of the year 2022 is gonna be The Fabelmans. Spielberg is the GOAT. Spielberg is the freaking GOAT. Seeing his life growing up as a child and seeing him fall in love with movies as a young kid while also dealing with this family drama, I relate to that. It's up my alley. You guys don't know everything about me personally, but I can tell you this movie was meant for me. It goes all up in my life, and I can see so many things that I relate to, and a lot of you out there also see this movie as that, and I love that for people. As a person that's about to make even more short films next year, this movie was aspiring to me. I want to watch it again and study certain edits and camera angles. I want to make movies like this where people can watch it and feel inspiration, and Spielberg does that for me every time he makes a movie, but this one hit different. And that movie stuck with me ever since I saw it, and when I saw it for a second time, I left a mess, and I needed to see it again. It is my favorite movie of the year, without a doubt. And with that being said, that is my 15 favorite movies of the year 2022. Like I said, you're gonna disagree. I get it. I totally get it. This year was hard. It was a hard year to just rank these movies. And I want to see your list. I want to know, what was your favorite movie of the year? What did you think about my list? Am I that dumb? Yeah, I kind of am. But that's the best part about seeing other people's opinion. And I can't wait to read you guys' comments and read what you guys have thought your favorite movie of the year was. And with that being said, top 10 worst. Yeah, that's coming for sure. For sure. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I hope you enjoyed the entire holiday season right now. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.